Thank you everyone for your patience so far. Dr. Uwa had to come to my house for this session to be possible, and she has just walked through the door now. Where are you? Sweetheart, please come in. Thank you. Thank you for this sacrifice. Please, this way. Thank you very much, my darling sister. Thank you for doing this for me. For us. Oh, sweetheart, God bless you, my darling. Please sit down. Oh, take a deep breath. This Facebook Live wanted to scatter our show. Oh, but God passed them.
I know, right?
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you for joining. So we'll just expect some of our guests who have left. I hope they're able to join back.
Okay.
Because they were here already and it kept happening.
Yeah.
We kept having this login log out session, and I hope they're able to join. Well, nonetheless, we're going to kick off immediately. We've spent 1 hour of our time gone already. I think I should move this thing backwards so I can capture you very well, Uma. Yeah, it's fine.
You need to turn it to the left a little.
Yes, it's better like this. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for joining our live session. Welcome once again to Talk Child here to Dr. Q Merita. Today, I have here with me Dr. Uwaoma Archibong, my dear friend. So, I happened to have met Uwaoma 2 years ago when I got a job here in Telford. We had to move here, and then I met Uwaoma at the same workplace where I got a job. And we kicked it off really fast.
Like sisters.
Like sisters.
Who knew themselves?
Exactly. And then we became this past 1 year, we've become very close, and we've known ourselves more. And I'll boldly say Uwaoma is a very confident woman, a very sacrificial human being. She's this type that can go above and beyond for those she loves. And I really appreciate that part of her. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So Dr. Uwaoma, she's a medical doctor who graduated from the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. Yeah. So before that, she did a primary school in ROSUTST. Can you give us the full meaning of that name?
It's River State University of Science and Technology Staff School. Yes.
Okay, and it was the primary school.
The primary school.
That must have been a very tech school.
Tush primary school. It was.
Okay, now that must have been a very good school. Well done. That's good to know. And after that, she went to Air Force Guest Secondary School in Jos. How did you move from Port Harcourt to Jos?
So I had an uncle then, God rest his soul. He's passed on now. My mom's younger brother, who was already an army officer in Jos then, in Plateau State. So he just got a wave of the information that the military secondary school then had applications open, and I put it in. I got it.
No wonder you have this soldier character. You've never met this, my friend. Okay, thank you very much.
You're
and then
welcome.
after that, after the secondary school, Uwaoma proceeded to the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, where she had her MBBS. And after MBBS, Uwaoma went ahead to start her residency training in the University of Calabar. She was just turning around the country from Port Harcourt to Calabar, from Port Harcourt to Jos, from Jos to Calabar. Okay, and then from the University of Calabar, she started residency. Like, okay, maybe I want more. Maybe I want to experience other aspects of life in pediatrics. And then she decided to move. She relocated down to the UK. And she's currently a clinical fellow. She loves pediatrics so much. She came here, she didn't go into any other specialty. She decided to pursue her pediatrics goal, her pediatric career, which she's currently doing, and she seems to be doing very well in pediatrics. She loves children, and I'm glad I have her here today to talk on this topic. Welcome once again, my darling.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really glad to be here. It's a privilege.
I'm sorry for all the hitches with this. I don't know why we're having that issue.
Honestly.
I'm surprised.
I couldn't figure
Yeah,
out,
sometimes you know this network thing. I don't think it's network, but I don't know. I think we're still yet to get used to all these social media platforms and their technicalities. Okay, without wasting much time, can you tell us a little about yourself as a pediatrician, Uwaoma, and as a mom? Pediatrician and as a mom.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm really glad to be here on this live. She's already said half of all you need to know about me. I'm a pediatrician. Had my roots in River State in Port Harcourt, born and bred in Port Harcourt, and then I started my pediatric career sometime in 2010.
That's a long time ago, right?
Yeah. It was sometime. It was a funny story actually. I thought I'd be a gynecologist, and that was when I was in Echo Hospital in Lagos. I had all the applications in for obs and gynae and all that, and just at the last minute, I thought, you know what, I'd rather do pediatrics instead, because I had just finished my pediatric posting. I think that was the last one I did.
Okay.
And I realized how drawn to pediatrics I was, so I changed it, and that's began my pediatric journey. So I went, I worked as a pediatrician in Lagos in Roding Medical Center, and then went on to start my residency training in Calabar in 2010. Yeah, 2010, sorry. I started my housemanship in 2007. So by 2010, I was in Calabar as a pediatrician. And like you said, it gets to that point in your life where you want more, and then life's decisions and circumstances, helps you, to make a detour. And alas, I found myself in the UK.
And you're doing well.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for giving us that the detail of your background. So can you now tell us how is life for you as a pediatrician, as a mom?
It's a tricky one because it's a mix. One would easily assume that being a pediatrician will make you the best mother, or being a good mom will automatically make you a good pediatrician. But no, they're actually two different worlds. And although they have great areas where they cross, but life as a pediatrician and as a mother are two challenging roads that are quite a mystery to mix. But by the grace of God, it's been a wonderful journey. I can say that it's been challenging but wonderful.
Yeah, and I will say you're doing well. You're doing both very well.
Thank you.
Okay, so go to the next question. Becoming a single mom is not something many women plan for. What was that transition like for you emotionally?
I like what you said. You said it's a journey that many don't plan for. Some plan for it, ironically, but yes, it was unplanned for. That's the first thing I would say. Like my sister Merit has said, it was unplanned for. So becoming a single mom has taken a toll, or did take a toll. Not that was in the past. It was unplanned for, so it took a toll, quite a huge toll emotionally. And it's almost like rocking a boat. So you sort of need to take a few minutes to stabilize and find your balance again. So yes, it had been an uphill task finding myself as a single mom, and a working one at that. But by the grace of God, which is the first and foremost thing I always say when I'm talking about my journey, it has been solely by the grace of God. He's given me the grace and strength to navigate these aspects of life, successfully. Well, I say successfully because I'm still a work in progress.
Of course, you're doing well.
Thank
and I'm
you.
Impressed by how far you've come, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move over to the next question. Guest, I can't really see our guest on because we had to put our device a little bit far away. Okay, what I'll do is to connect the mic. I think that will help us better.
Okay.
Mama, wait, let me get the mic. I think we have 4 people online at the moment. People had to leave because Because yeah, but fine, we always have this and post it on the page. Okay, let me put it on for you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Okay, then put this here. All right. Sorry guys, we forgot our mic before, but hope you're hearing us now. I hope it's louder. Okay. So you've talked about the emotional bit, and you actually got me emotional, to be honest. I was like, oh, should I give her a hug at this point?
No, we'll get to the point where I'll need a hug.
All right. So we'll go to the next question. What was the hardest part of raising two daughters alone that no one prepared you for? Because you have been going through this journey for the past few years now, and I know how difficult it is. Even with my husband present here, I know how difficult it is, raising kids, then raising two daughters alone. What has been the hardest parts of this journey?
Every aspect of it has been hard. Because again, like you said, no one prepares you for this. But I'd say the hardest part has been, the emotional task of stabilizing yourself, and then, being sort of like stable enough to also hold the emotions of your children together, because being a family unit that's been torn apart is also hard on the children as well. So I was very quick to recognize that the path our lives had taken, it didn't have a toll on just me, it also had a toll on my children as well. So I was very quick to, no, not me, like I said, the Holy Spirit, it was very quick for him to reveal to me that I needed to be stable to also be there for my girls. So the hardest part of the journey has been staying emotionally stable for both myself and two others. So it's been like holding three people's emotion all the way along, yeah.
Well done, I can't begin to imagine.
And then of course the aspect of navigating childcare in the UK. We're not back home where you have
the
that
support,
full family support. Yeah, it's there as well.
Yeah, it can be very difficult. Well done, sis. I see you. Okay, so for those who are listening to us in this session, you can drop your comment in the chat box, or you can ask questions. If you have question for Dr. Uwaoma here, please send in your question. If you have question for me, send me your question. I can answer your question. All right, thank you very much. So we'll go over to the next question. Now, raising daughters as a single mom, how do you intentionally raise confident girls, especially in a world that can be very critical of women? I've seen your daughters and I think they are very confident. They know what they're doing. They are very smart. So how do you intentionally raise them in this confidence manner that we see in this world that can be, people criticize single moms and they think girls raised by single moms might not turn out well. People are always stigmatizing sort of. How have you been able to raise your daughters in this dimension?
The first thing I'll say is thank you so much. I couldn't miss that compliment of saying that you've met my girls and they're confident. Thank you. I don't take that lightly. It's again being solely by the grace of God. But what I'd like to say, because this session is not just about me, it's about sharing my story so that others can learn. So it's been with intentionality, with prayers, and then of course with the support of wonderful friends and family. I have an amazing family support and a good network of godly sisters and friends like Merit, and so a combination of all of this and the fact that I'm very intentional about what my children know, especially living in a society like this where the moral compass is compromised. It has been largely with a combination of prayers, intentionality. Like I said, I'm very intentional about what my children watch, about what they hear, about who they interact with. I don't have it all under control. It's a work in progress. And God has also blessed me with, children who listen and understand my motives behind everything I teach and I say to them.
Thank you very much for answering that brilliantly. I think there was one day you showed me a very emotional message from your daughter, your first daughter. I think you were going for an exam, and then she sent you this beautiful message. I was like, wow. And she's 12. It was so emotional. I felt like crying when I read it. She was so intentional and so particular about the wordings of the message she sent to her mom. It was a success message, and it was like a whole full page. All right, so I'm going to ask this question. What values are you most intentional about teaching your daughters?
Values. Well, the first value on the top of my list are biblical values. I'm sure it's not a surprise to hear that by now, because I've been all, it's the grace of God. It's been by the power of the Holy Spirit. So I didn't say Christian values intentionally. I said biblical values because there's been diverse definitions of what Christianity is to different people. So I stick with the Bible, which is also what I am very intentional about teaching my children. It's not just, saying I'm a Christian or who says I'm a Christian. The standard is the Bible. So the first values I instill in them are biblical values. I try to teach them to know God for themselves. And then the other value that it's really important is the sense of self-worth, which I've tried to instill in them, knowing that they don't need anybody, including myself. They don't need anybody, and they don't need public to validate them.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, that's one important. The value of a sense of self-worth. So to know that, they are able to do anything that they want to do if they put their hearts to it. And of course, also teach them to make God the center of their lives and, seek his face first in everything that they do.
Yeah, I know that. And I think the other values I've seen in them is the fact that they are very neat, very tidy. Because, over here in the UK, sometimes we have children who do not want to be involved in house chores or get things done. And then there's this day your first daughter cleaned the entire house. And the place was like a house a professional cleaner has touched. I was like, who cleaned this place? And they said this.
My
daughter.
daughter.
What? It's so clean.
So speaking of that.
Yeah, so she did very well. And then also you've got this list of house chores with, it's more like a rota. So, I feel you're quite intentional.
Very.
And everybody knows their role in the house.
Everybody knows.
Which I feel they all try to get done.
Yeah.
Which you're doing very well with. That's a good one.
So, yeah, in terms of values as well, I also, cultural values are there. Raising them to be neat and organized women. And like you said, we have, there was a day the little one said, why is your name not on the rota? On the rota, the list for chores. I said, well, if you can switch places and make all the money that I make, then I'll have my name on the chore list and then yours off, and we'll have a good laugh. I mentioned that because, while it sounds like there's a list of chores, it's not really, it doesn't bring tension to the home. We do our chores together, whilst one is washing the dishes, the other is sweeping the kitchen. And it was something that I knew very well that at a very early age in life, it was very important to teach our children these values. And I'd quickly say I would have done the same thing if I had boys as well. I have 2 daughters, and they're really amazing. They're amazing at home. They're amazing at school. God has been very, really faithful to us. Yeah. Yeah,
I've asked you for that rota. I told you that I need the rota because I need to draw up that rota in my house as well. You are here to give me a copy of that rota so I can replicate same in my house.
Yes, I'll put the little ones to do the dishes.
Okay, so we'll go to the next question. How do you balance discipline with emotional safety in your home?
Whoa,
Discipline.
whoa,
Because
whoa,
you know, we're in the UK, and you know it's quite difficult to discipline our kids, to be honest. Sometimes you don't know when to shout, when your shouting has become too much, and they will say, oh, it is emotionally tormenting.
That one has,
and you know, considering where we are coming from, like before you do anything, but here, before you do anything,
you can't do that.
Even if you are trying to raise up your hand, you just suddenly suspend it in the air and start shaking your hand. So, how do you balance discipline with emotional safety in your home?
This one has thrown me off balance, but I'll try. I'll try. I need to this one coming.
Yeah.
Discipline and emotional balance. Add again intentionality, and the one thing I try to do is to this advice or this answer. It's not a one size fits all. That's one thing I'll be quick to add. And one of the ways that I instill discipline and maintain emotional balance, it's by telling my daughters, it's explaining to them what they need to know, what they need to do, and why they need to do it. Okay? Again, it's also not just about being in the UK. I think this is everywhere, where times have changed, generations have changed. Even the children now back home are seeing things quite differently. So we also have to sort of like adapt our parenting methods to suit the present times. So how I balance it is more like, you know, speaking to them firmly. When I need to be firm, I am firm. And it's always making sure that the child understands that what they have done, you know, equates the consequence. And, you know, you keep the consequence reasonable. If, for instance, I'll give an instance. If they return from school, for instance, and they don't maybe wash out their lunch boxes or their bottles, I would say, okay, for this evening, because you've missed out washing your lunch bottle, you would not have your device time. We have during the weekdays, we have hours allocated to devices where you can draw, you can paint, you can watch, you know, educational programs and stuff like that. So I would say, because you have not done your chore, you would miss your device time, or because you have not done your chore, you'd miss this or that. You know, there's always consequences that equate to. So the child understands, my daughters understand when I say they are going to miss out on something because they haven't done the right thing. Because this is a good time to teach children that their lives comes, you know, actions have consequences, so that it's not a blow to them when they grow up and then things happen and then, you know, there are consequences. So yeah, we balance that, and because of that understanding, they don't feel bad. Not all the time. Children are children, but you know, even though they understand, you know, from an emotional point of view while you're doing that. And as a parent, I try to stay true. If I say you won't have your device, I don't turn around and change it. I stick to the to the decision of not doing that at a particular time. And again, it's also not to overstretch it. That's where the emotional balance comes in. Those days, for instance, maybe growing up as children, you have you know, your parents sort of like saying, oh, you know, you won't do this or you won't do that for a few days. But if it doesn't match the offense, the child begins to feel unloved, begins to feel intimidated, begins to feel, you know, like it almost begins to feel like a vindictive plan. So when the time comes for you to end that particular event as a consequence, you do end it at that time. And as soon as I end an event, I give them a call and I say, look, you know that what you did was wrong, right? And then we balance it.
Beautiful. That's more like communication.
It's good communication.
Good communication between parents and children. So
Yeah.
it's not just enough to say, I'm the boss in the house, I've said it, do it like this, and you never communicate with your child. Certainly it's going to bounce back to you.
There are times, however, where you have to put your foot down as the boss, you know, because children sometimes forget the fact that, you know, because you're not in a society where we, you know, use different disciplinary measures, they tend to forget. So at times you need to like, look, you remember that, you know, it's my house, my rules.
Yeah.
You have to tell them. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So they do.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Sorry,
So the next question, have you noticed trends in your daughters that you think came from your single parents journey?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, yeah.
I have. I've noticed trends in them. Yes, I would say yes. And one of the examples I would give is learning to trust God. Is the greatest lesson. I would simply say that my children have picked up from my single parenting journey, because there are a lot of course journeys and phases in life where we've gone through different things, and they've watched me say, oh, I'm fine, this is a tough period, but I'm trusting God that it will get better. And they've actually seen God come through for me. And sometimes I use it as a bribery or something for God, and I'm like, God, your children are watching me. You cannot fall my hand.
Yes, so you have to come through so that they have faith too.
You have to come through for me so that their faith is strengthened. So it helps me a lot. That's one of the things I'd say they've picked up from my journey as a single mom. They've picked up how to learn to trust God, in the tough times of their lives.
That's good. Thank you very much. I can't see those online, to be honest. I would have loved to give out a shout out to you all, but I know you're listening to us, and I hope this conversation so far has not been boring and you're following through and you're happy we're doing this. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for your time so far. So go over to the next question, sis. Okay, how do you handle guilt, especially on days when work and parenting clash? Because there have been a lot of occasions like that. Sometimes we have two parents in the house. Maybe one is working and the other one is not working. In your case, is one person working, and how do you handle it, especially in this UK with childcare issues and the rest?
Oh my goodness, that is a tough one. The first formula that has worked for me is not working full time.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I'd say. Not working.
One person that is working 60%. How she's doing it, me, I don't know.
Let's not go there.
I need to get there. I need to get to that stage. 60%. Wow, good job. Yes, yeah.
Let's not go there. Well, it's a tough decision, to be honest, because again, we know what comes with working 60%.
Yeah.
But it's a sacrifice that I've had to make because I have prioritized the well-being of my children. So yeah, that guilt, how I handle guilt, especially when I'm having to juggle parenting and work. It features mostly when I have to sort of miss events. I try as much as possible to tailor school meetings or school activities to the days when I'm not working. But on the days where it's completely inevitable, I explain again, I communicate with my children, and I tell them, how much I'd love to be there, but unfortunately, because I have to work, so communication helps. Again, intentionality and the sacrifices I've made just so that I can both work to provide and then balance out life with being a parent and be there for them as well. So
well done. You're handling it all like a pro, the pro that you are.
I didn't get to being a pro in one day. It was a journey.
So we'll go over to the next question.
Okay.
What signs do you look out for to know when your children need emotional support? At what point do you know they need the support?
So children are different and they have different cues. My daughters, for instance, they have two separate personalities. So you actually have to know your child. You have to have that, physical, emotional sync and bond with your child. And they have different cues. One of them, for instance, she gives me a lot of hugs. She loves to hug. So
the second one.
That's the second one. She loves to hug.
Yeah.
So when I know that she's needing a little bit of extra support about something, is she goes really quiet. She's quite a bit of a chatterbox as well. So when she goes quiet and then she's giving me a lot more extra hugs, and then I go, okay, You're hugging me a lot. What's
What's
happening?
going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
And then the other one, on the other hand, doesn't hug as much. So when she comes hugging me a lot as well, I know that, and I go, what's going on? Yeah. So you need to know your children and the cues they would give to you individually. That's how I know.
Good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So there's still a belief that children from single parent homes don't do well. I don't know why people believe this. Is it that they've done research? Is it from what they've seen in other children brought up by single parent? Now, what would you say to this narrative?
The first thing I'd say is the narrative isn't altogether true. I would not really blame the people who have said so, because let me talk on this point now as a pediatrician, because I've seen so many children, and then when you look at, if you take a poll, for instance, and then you sort of like, when you see children who have, behavioral issues or mental health issues, or you look at the news and you see children who've been in trouble, you find out that a larger percentage come from dysfunctional homes or broken homes. That's not to say that the children from, what I call it, complete, because it's not all complete homes that are stable. So I'm not using the word stable intentionally. So children that are from, complete family settings, that's not to say that you don't see those children, being
in those positions,
in that same position. But the main answer to that is the fact that no, it's not true that every single child that comes from a broken home doesn't turn out well. I'll use myself as an example. Like you said at the start, it humbles me to know that, and it's been by the grace of God to say that I'm raising confident, well-behaved children who I'm trusting God will continue to behave well. Because again, as parents, you have to be realistic. Sometimes you do everything you can and you give all the rights. There's no one size fits all, but you would think that you've done all the right things to raise your child well. But sometimes we have to also factor in the power of external influences, where they learn values or things, or they hear about things that you haven't instilled in them. So it just takes, prayers and grace to balance out what has a higher effect on them. So yes, broken homes can still raise stable children. There are a lot of very successful children who still came from homes that are, separated. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that answer. So, what would you want society to understand better about single mothers? What would you want society to understand about single mothers? It can be difficult, and there's this stigmatization. And then you will see, sometimes when I go into social media and I'm seeing comment section, I see some guys saying, avoid single mothers, by all means, avoid single mothers. Like, what is going on? Like, it's like there's a war against single mother.
Right?
So what would you want society to understand better about single mothers?
Single mothers. The first thing I'd say to society is, being a single mother is not just living alone with children. There are a lot of married women in married home settings that are still single mothers.
Despite there's supposedly a man in the picture. Yeah, I understand that.
Single. So I want to first of all, single motherhood is not just a woman living on her own with children. There are women who are,
in that position. They have a husband,
marriages,
but he's not present. Or they have a spouse, they have a partner, a male partner who is not present.
Who's not not present, not contributing. So those women, I just want to say that society should understand that single women are not, would I say, they're not, I don't know what word to use, but it's not the end of the world to be a single mother. Single women need support. Single women need understanding. single women need understanding. They need that support. So
Yeah, I think on the other hand, also say, don't stigmatize them. They never bargained for it.
Exactly.
It just came and it has happened. And we don't know what life will throw at anyone. So for them to be able to hold it up, pick up the pieces of their life and still try to stay strong, try to respect that and don't stigmatize them and don't look down on them. Okay, that's what I'll say. I have one by my side who is so strong, who is so wonderful, and who is doing very well with raising her beautiful daughters.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what's the funniest or most unexpected thing one of your daughters has said to you?
Okay. She knows my children. They say so many crazy things, but one very comes to mind. My daughter said to me, "Mommy, we have to set up a committee to find you a man."
Oh my God. Like a committee, serious committee.
I wasn't expecting
was it Phoebe that said that?
I think it was the little one.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So the thing is, what threw me off was, it wasn't just the fact that she said that she wanted to find me, but she said that she was going to set up a committee.
No, I know what she means. She wants the perfect man. It's not just the one that somebody will just come and try you. She wants the committee to investigate the man, look at the man holistically before you say yes to the man. I think we have to push for that to happen. I've supported that already.
I think she'll add you to the committee.
She should add me. I can chair the committee.
Oh,
all right, yes, that was really funny.
Thank you. I don't forget that at all.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had a moment where you just laughed and thought, this motherhood thing is not for the faint-hearted?
No, it's not a moment. Every day. Every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day. I tell I laugh and shake my head and I say, this single motherhood is, it's not for the faint-hearted. But it's, if you've got God by your side, if you're a child of God and you trust God, it's He doesn't promise a walk in the park, but it's not for the faint-hearted.
It's a journey, though it's difficult, but you can walk through it.
You can walk through it with God by your side, yeah.
Yeah, and with your determination as well. Well done.
Thank you.
Now, what has single motherhood taught you about your own strength, Uwaoma? Uwaoma, I know you're very strong. Imagine this lady drove 15 minutes drive to get to my house. No. Went down
22 actually.
22 minutes drive. 22 minutes drive. She stays in another city, but it's close to my city. And they started having these hitches, trying to put her onto the live video, and we're finding it difficult. And then she said, you know what? Let's just end it. Start it by 8 p.m. and I'll be at your house. I was like, okay, how is that going to be possible? Because at this time, it was already like 7:35 p.m. Jagaban, this one. Jagaban.
Let's not talk about my driving on this. It's outside the scope.
Jagaban, no, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying how Jagaban you are. And then, literally, before I could say Jack, she was here.
It's fine.
Yeah, so, what has single motherhood taught you about your own strengths? Because right now you're playing the role of a mom, you're playing the role of your dad, Yeah, let's hear.
The first thing it has taught me is that I'm stronger than I think or than I thought. Yeah. I didn't think I would when I saw myself at the start of this journey, I looked down and I wondered how I was going to navigate it. But again, the most important lesson is, trust God and just take that step. And how you get through, leave it to God. It will just work out one beautiful day at a time. Important lesson. One, your strength, you cannot do it on your own. Yeah, it has to be, by the grace of God. Yeah. So it has taught me that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Beautiful woman of God. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we've seen some women, they're in abusive marriages, abusive, terrible situation. They have their husband come back from wherever he's gone to, maybe for days, and suddenly pop into the house and start beating the woman, blue, black. These women are finding it difficult to leave their husbands or leave the house because they want to remain married, or they are scared of the unknown. What if I leave now? What is there? What is outside there for me? So they have suffered abuse for so long. They have swallowed abuse for so long, but they are finding it difficult to just walk away because they are afraid of this title, single mother, or they are afraid of this title of being single. What advice would you give a woman who is newly separated or divorced, or finding it, or still trying to make that decision and afraid for their children's future? So they are very afraid of their children. What advice will you give them?
Again, as with other things in life, it's not a one size fits all. I'm very careful with advice because everybody's circumstance and whatever led to their journey as a single mother is totally different. I'm not going to go into the details of how I got into mine and and all that. I'll leave that out. But if you are a new single mom and you're wondering how you would navigate this journey, I can honestly tell you that it's easier said than done. You need to just breathe
while she's taking a moment, because this is quite emotional for her too. Navigating through this journey is emotional for anybody, and she stands strong all this while. So what I'll say about this, for we women, what I've seen about her, there are times your children's father will not come through. There are times after the separation, they might not even try to help the kids financially. So as women, as a woman, you have to find something doing. It's not enough to be under the roof of a man or claiming his wife. You have to find something. You have to have your own money. That will be my advice. You have to have your own money, personal money, so that when situation comes up, you'll be able to handle the situation. When the situation comes up and financial situation comes up, you won't be left handicapped. You won't be found wanting. You'll be able to sort things out, like I've seen from my friend here and also from friends who have gone through this journey. The only way you can survive in that outside world is if you have your money, if you are doing something. If you are doing something, no matter how small it is, you are doing something. That's where the confidence will come out from. If you're not doing anything and you're solely reliant on this man or whoever he is that is abusing you, it will be difficult for you to survive out there. So you have to find something doing. Whether you are educated, you're not educated. So businesses have tried and it's doing well. We've seen women who have done very well for themselves, whether they went to school or did not go to school. So first of all, you have to empower yourself.
Empower yourself, yeah. Now that I've found my voice.
Okay.
Now that I've found my voice.
Let me rub your back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. The other thing I would say to any woman trying to navigate her way out of an abusive marriage or a newly separated single mother is, first of all, make God and Christ the center of your life, because you need Him to hold it all together for you. I know I'm speaking to, a wide audience. You may be Christians, you may be non-Christians, but because I'm a Christian, I would speak from that point of view. Yes, from a Christian perspective. You may be a Christian, but not, truly born again, because the Bible says you should seek first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and every other thing will be added to you. So you retrace your steps and go back to the cross and go back to the foot of Christ. And that time when you are in the middle of your struggle, trying to navigate and find a way out, go to Christ and lay down your burden at his feet, because the Bible says, cast your cares upon Christ, upon me, and for he cares for you. So that was what made it easy for me, putting Christ first, amidst my, in spite of the challenges. The second thing I'd like to advise any single mother who's trying to navigate, because single motherhood, there are usually events that led up to that, and they're not pleasant. It's definitely never pleasant, no matter what anybody says, because you start off your journey. If you have children, it means that you made those children with a man, and for you to get to the point where you have children with a man, you must have envisaged a life
with that
of
person.
love with that person and all that. So things have changed and turned out the way you didn't plan. So the first thing I'd like to, or the other thing I'd like to advise, because I've said quite a lot, is one, put Christ first. Two, try not to focus too hard on the pain or the source of the pain. Forgiveness is key. You need to forgive. And then ask God to help you to channel the energy that you have into your healing and the healing of your children. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. Success in being a single mother lies with releasing forgiveness to, the source of your pain, the father of the children, whatever his actions or inactions did to get you to the point where you are as a single mother. You need to just release all that pain. You need to release all that forgiveness. Whether they deserve it or not, it's none of your business. You bring it to the cross and let it go. When you lay it down for the Holy Spirit, because you have to lay down your burden. It's like carrying an item in your hand. If you have this item, you're not going to be able to receive another. So you're needing to lay that pain, the unforgiveness, the everything at the foot of Christ, so that, and not necessarily because you want to get back together and you're forgiving the person and looking for the person. No, you're leaving that pain behind just so that you can open up your hands freely to receive the blessings of God. Because the Bible says again, he said, he who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul unto vanity. Vanity is not just fornication and idolatry. Unforgiveness can build a big idol in your life. So he says, who has not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. In Psalm 1, he says he will receive blessings, from God, and righteousness from the God of his salvation.
When I will open our church. When I'll be the offering collector or usher. I'm volunteering to be the usher. Are you hearing Rema? This has gone into another dimension. Rema dimension. Oma, thank you. You're speaking healing to a lot of people out there today. You're speaking healing to a lot of mothers out there today. And I'm glad I have you here.
Thank you.
For this session.
Yeah, I'm glad I came.
So some single mothers do feel guilty. Can you tell us what they should stop feeling guilty about?
Again, the journey of singlehood, is a combination of a lot of events. The first thing I can tell you is that single mothers would probably feel, it was their fault. Even children, sometimes they feel, was it my fault that, everything fell apart? Again, I would say, excuse me, I'm sorry, really sorry about that. Put that guilt at the foot of Christ. Don't, even if the things that happened were your fault, because, for any, relationship or interaction to go south, there must have been contributions from both parties. It's never, one person did everything, one person, because nobody's perfect. So for the areas where you contributed to the disintegration of the relationship that then made you single, the first thing I'd say is, for the things that came from your own end, you need to forgive yourself and move on. And then for the things that were not your fault, you need to also not let anyone, individuals, society, friends, family, because it will be a journey where even those trusted family and friends that you thought, understood you, when you hear their views of how you became a single parent or what you're doing, or I think you'd be amazed. So you need to learn to just, how to deal with the guilt is just leave it at the foot of Christ. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Let go. Don't go. You may want to reflect. Reflection is different from, living with guilt.
Guilt, yeah.
You reflect so that you can learn from the things that have happened, and you can make amends. Take necessary steps to sort of adjust yourself, and that's only to make a better version of yourself, not because you want to revenge for the next person if the next person comes along. No, it's not. Don't make your journey about anyone. Yeah, it's about you. It's about yourself. Your healing. So just put the guilt away and ask God to heal you and help you take the next necessary steps
forward
in life. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think we are coming to the end of this session. I'm going to ask you. Do we have 2 more questions to go?
2.
If your daughters were to watch this conversation in 10 to 15 years, what would you want them to hear from you today?
Okay. There's some aspects you touch that. If my daughters watch this, the one thing I would want to tell them, and I think they already know, but I would re-emphasize it because, again, this is sort of like the first time I'm coming out to speak to them or about them in public since this journey started. I didn't prepare for this, by the way. But because I know the value of what, our journeys in Christ, because there are people who go through life's journeys and you either go through it without Christ and you go through it in pain and it will bring a lot of crisis. But if you go through your journey with Christ, you find out that you come out at the other end, better, healed, with more peace. So what I'd like to say to my daughters, or what I want them to know if they're watching this live broadcast years from now, is that I love them. I love them from the bottom of my heart. I say that every single day to them. But I thank them. They are the first people on my list. I've never really had time to think about this journey or what I would do or what I'd say. But now that you ask, I thank my daughters. They are the first people I want to say thank you to. If you're watching this, my daughters, I don't know what to call them.
Of course.
If you're watching this, broadcast today or 10 years from now, I want you to know that I love you very much. I love you both equally, and you've been amazing. And I could not have gone through this journey without their support. After God's grace, God's love, God's hold, the next thing in line is the support from my children. And they have supported me because of it's like a feedback mechanism. What you give is what you get. And I've received that support from them because of the amount of love and support as well that I've given to them. So I want to say thank you to my children, my daughters, for the amount of support and love that they have shown me. They've been so encouraging. She knows the kind of messages my children send to me.
I'm already getting emotional.
They tell me how much they love me, how amazing. They send me messages, honestly, to say, you've been an amazing mom. You're strong. They're like, you're the best role model ever. Things like that. Just, it keeps me going. It makes it all worth it. It makes the sacrifices. It makes the pain. It makes the journey all worth it. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Uwa.
You're welcome.
You very much. So the last question for tonight.
Okay.
What message would you like to leave for every single mother watching you right now?
Oh, okay. Message for single mothers. Trust God. Trust God. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Release forgiveness to your offenders, because again, in this journey, it's not just the spouse or the ex, either boyfriend or husband. Some people have had children outside of the marriage vows. We have to remember to factor them in. So either your ex-boyfriends or your ex-husbands, you have to release forgiveness to them. Love yourself. Find time to do things that make you happy.
Beautiful.
Yes, find time. It's very important because your emotional stability is the largest secret behind your children's emotional stability. So you're going to need to make that intentional effort. It's not easy. You're going to need, I would advise that you're intentional about your efforts to make yourself happy. Your healing journey, whatever forms of support you have, family, friends, if you need professional support as well, try as much as possible to reach out, to get as much support as you want, and bring your plate. Just focus your energy on being the best version of yourself. Yes, for yourself, and then for the children you are raising, because you also have to remember that the enemy comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy.
Yes, Pastor.
So at the end of the day, it's not just about you. Remember that the children you have brought into this world, their outcome, their destinies, it all lies with you. You have to, even when you want to do things that would bring satisfaction to you as a human being. For instance, I'll just give a small example before I close. There are times when you are so hurt, you want to, revenge or do tiny things that would, feedback negatively to, your ex-partner or spouse or ex-spouse. And again, when I said the word offenders, it's because it's not just these partners. Sometimes friends and family who were around you would also contribute to, your pain and the stigmatization in your journey. So you're going to have to learn to release forgiveness to all these people. And it's really important because remember, it's not just about you.
You're about sharing your story.
You're modeling this character to the children that you're raising as well. So, like I said, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So if you let yourself go and just run with your emotions, it's not just about, you may get the immediate satisfaction you want, but remember that when you model a negative example for the children that you're raising, you're destroying their destinies, you're destroying their lives years ahead. You don't want to do that. That's where we get the key to raising healthy children, even from single mothers. You want to, there are single fathers out there too who would benefit from this, because we focus a lot on mothers and forgetting that there are fathers who struggle with things as well.
Exactly.
Let's factor in a few of the men. So model good, character examples, because it's not just about you, it's about the children you're raising as well.
Thank you very much, sweetheart.
You're welcome.
Please, if you are there, you've been listening to us for the past more than 30 minutes now, going to 1 hour.
About an hour
You've
now.
been so patient with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you having you here. If you've got a question, please just drop it in the chat box and we have her here to answer us. So Dr. Uwaoma here is going to answer your question. If you've got any question before we wrap it up for tonight, thank you very much. I think I have to go close to the phone so I can call the names. Yeah, we've got people here. So thank you, Faith, for joining. Oh, we have Dr. Egwaven here. Thank you very much, Chief. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you, Robert Clinton Kindness, for joining. Thank you, Wary, for joining. Thank you, Rita, for joining. Thank you, Faith, for joining. Thank you, my darling mama, for joining. Thank you, my darling husband, for joining. I appreciate you all. You all are the best. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, sweetheart, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
then.
everyone.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.